I have now changed the connection, so I hope this one works better. So we said that kama means desire, and desire is one of the three functions of the mind. We have thinking, feeling, and willing or desire. So it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. According to the association, the mind desires this or that. So if we associate with people who have material desires, or if we associate with material sense objects, then we will have a desire to enjoy materially or to enjoy sinfully. So we simply have to have good association, to seek good association if we want to make our mind to be a friend. And we need to associate with sadhus, with saintly personalities, with devotees. So one who is intelligent is called Buddhiman, and he must associate with Satsu. Satsu means those who are trying to achieve self-realization. These devotees are called Sat. Another word for training the mind is called Jitatmana. So, one who has conquered the mind, Jitatmana Prashantasya. Prashanta means he has come into balance, equilibrium. This is the meaning of Prashanta. Mind is dragging us always to temporary things, to non-permanent things. And Manoratena means the chariot of the mind. As long as we are seated on the chariot of the untrained mind or unbridled mind, the mind will drag us to permanent things with many promises for sense enjoyment. But our nature is that we are eternal, we are permanent, and somehow or other we have got this attachment. We got attachment for non-permanent things. So we have to get out of this entanglement. If the mind is not trained up, then the mind will always give me trouble. Now, how the mind can be trained up? It can be trained to be focused on Krishna. The mind is the, Srila Prabhupada, compares the mind with the fort of the mind, and we fix up our mind on a great soldier, Krishna. For example, if the fort is defended by a great general, then there is no question of enemy being able to enter. Similarly, if we put Krishna on the fort of the mind, then there is no chance of various enemies entering, like lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. So we know that Ambarish Maharaj has engaged his mind always in thinking of Krishna. Without association of devotees, it is impossible to train the mind. It is not possible by the so-called yoga system or meditation. We have to associate with devotees, otherwise it will not be possible. So, therefore we have this Krishna consciousness movement or Krishna conscious society, so that people can associate with devotees, that we can associate with devotees, and that we use this rare human body and to engage the mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. People have asked in Srila Prabhupada classes, have asked Srila Prabhupada, how does one train the mind? How to train the mind? He was asked this question. And Srila Prabhupada said, it's very simple. Just engage yourself in the activities. Srila Prabhupada said, just engage yourself in the activities of Krishna consciousness. Practical activity. Just like chanting, a boy who is 10 years old, he also can chant. Other children can chant. And so their mind is concentrated on the vibration Hare Krishna. Then the other senses are working, legs or hands, they are dancing. And in this way, by engaging the senses, it's easier to actually also focus the mind. So control of the mind helps the control of the senses, and control of the senses helps the control of the mind. This will make one's life perfect. You don't have to sit down at one place and artificially meditate upon something. As soon as you chant Hare Krishna, immediately the mind will be diverted. Immediately one can remember Krishna, Krishna's instructions, Krishna's work, and that requires practice. Krishna says, Maya Sakta, that your mind should be trained, that you become attached to me. So yoga means training the mind. In modern yoga societies, people do some relaxation, some asanas, maybe some guided meditation, but then they go out and engage in sinful activities. They cannot control the senses, and they also cannot control the mind. So maybe they control the mind a little bit with the help of a teacher in the yoga center, but after that they are not controlling the mind. But real yoga means controlling the mind all the time. So the real yoga practice is to concentrate the mental. If you press your nose and put your head down and legs up, so by these asanas, one can gradually come to the point of the eighth ladder of yoga, eighth step in eightfold yoga system. So, but these things are not, these things are means, they are not an end. I apologize, it seems that my net is breaking from time to time, so maybe my sentences are broken. And so the end of yoga is important, to actually concentrate the mind on Krishna. This is the ultimate point. So Krishna says, simply by concentrating your mind on me, you will understand me perfectly. We cannot actually understand Krishna 100% perfectly, but because he is limited, we are not. But as far as our capacity goes, and as far as Krishna allows us to understand him, we can understand Krishna. But this focus on Krishna is essential. So one quality of the mind is it's flickering, it's unsteady. And when Arjuna was advised by Krishna to train his mind by meditation, by yoga system, he said, "Oh Krishna, this is very difficult for me. Chanchalam himana Krishna, pramati balavadridam." In the 6th chapter, this is mentioned. Arjuna said, "My mind is very agitated. It's impossible to control the mind. It's like trying to control the wind." And of course, how can you control the wind? It's also impossible. So As soon as one has uncontrolled mind, as one is on the so-called mental platform, then there is no final conclusion. You accept something for the time being, then reject it, and therefore all mental speculators differ. Nasab munir yasamatam nabinam. This is described in the Mahabharata, also in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that all kinds of munis, thinkers, jnanis, yogis, if you don't have a different opinion from others, you are not considered to be a great sage. But we have a solid conclusion. We are not like this. We have a solid conclusion and we have one goal, which is very clear. So we have to train the mind to make the mind our best friend. And if we don't train the mind, it will become the fiercest or bitterest enemy. So always engage your mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, and then the mind will be automatically controlled and will be your friend. So in his song, Bhaja Huremana, Govinda Das is addressing his mind, my dear mind, you just be engaged in devotional service of Nanda Nandana, Krishna. Now Govinda Das doesn't say Krishna, Nandana, Bhaja Huremana, Sri Nanda Nandana. If we address Krishna directly, that is not very pleasing, but if we say Krishna Nanda Nandana, Yashoda Nandana, Devaki Nandana Parthasarati in relationship with his devotee, then Krishna becomes more pleased, Srila Prabhupada said. Okay, we can go through this purport on Bhaja Huremana separately, in a separate session. Now we are going through some other lectures of Srila Prabhupada. So one goal of training the mind is that we are ready at the moment of death to think of Krishna and to be able to chant. Chanting Hare Krishna and thinking of Krishna are non-different. So the more we chant Hare Krishna, the more we can think of Krishna. It's very simple, but we need to practice. And in one lecture, Srila Prabhupada explains the secret of training the mind. So the whole yoga system, like Hatha Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga system, all this is meant for controlling the mind. Mind is the center of sensual activities. So the purpose of Ashtanga Yoga is to train up the mind, because the mind is very restless. Arjuna, as we mentioned, also he admits that the mind is very difficult to control. It's very restless. So he refused to practice the Hatha Yoga system. He said to Krishna that for me this is not possible. So the yoga system is meant for training the mind, and those who are too much engrossed in the bodily constitution, for them this Ashtanga Yoga or Hatha Yoga is recommended. By practicing asana, by breathing, pranayama, meditation, dhyana, dharana, detaching from sense objects, making different postures of the body which affect the body and the mind. But there is a simple method that is recommended in the Shastras. One can train the mind if one simply keep mind focused on the lotus feet of Krishna. So you can see the lotus feet of the deities, and you can see Krishna's bodily form. And in this way, the mind can become by meditating on Krishna's form and Krishna's lotus feet. So Maharaja Ambarish did that. He engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna. So, therefore, our Krishna consciousness is training the mind how to remain Krishna conscious at the time of death. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavan. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, death. We are preparing to remember Krishna at the time of death. There is a Bengali poem that says, Bhajankara sadankara mate janlekhaya. You are doing so many things in spiritual life, but everything will be tested at the time of death. How you have practiced your bhajan, your sadhana, it will be examined at the time of death. So if you can remember Krishna at the time of death, then your practice was successful. So that's why we are always chanting Hare Krishna, so that at the time of death we can think of Krishna. In this way, our life will be successful. So thank you very much for listening, and looking forward to sharing with you the next session.